Okay, welcome to episode 8 of our podcast series. This is the PropCast series of webinars. We're leading to the Prop Trading Expo in London. My name is Simon Campbell from Investing Expos and delighted to be joined by Ross Maxwell from Keyzone Traders. Ross, good
Hi,
morning.
Simon. Delighted to be here as well.
Thank you. And you're one of our accredited speakers, which I'm delighted to have you on because you've been working with us for several years now. You've trained and mentored traders, taken them on a journey, sometimes without any trading experience at all, straight through. We get fantastic feedback from that, which is always great. You run the community in a very professional way, which is great. So good to have you here. I know you're speaking at our events on the 4th of April, 17th of May, so we look forward to that. You're joining us this morning on the 4th of March, and we can't really ignore the fact that we're in quite interesting times in terms of the war and the economies and Trump tariffs and so forth. Thought we might just spend a few minutes to look at what the markets are doing now and
Yeah.
what might be some scenarios. Difficult to predict, of course, everything's so changeable. But looking at what markets are you looking at the moment, for example?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, the markets are volatile. I think that just comes with the Trump presidency. It happened the last time he was president, and I didn't expect anything different this time around. It certainly has proven that it is no different. He likes to just the way that he communicates, the way that he positions himself is unlike any other leader, unlike any other president, and it causes market volatility. I mean, in terms of what markets am I looking at particularly? I mean, I'm looking at all the same markets that I would normally do. US indices, European indices, major forex pairs, oil, gold, and I mean, everything is being hit by the market volatility that we're seeing. And it presents opportunity. As for a short-term trader, it definitely presents opportunity. Market volatility will always do that as long as you can make sure that you manage your risk. But I think, as you mentioned, it's an ever-changing, ever-evolving marketplace. Again, Trump can say one thing in the morning, he can say a different thing in the afternoon. Somebody else can say something, China then come back and do something, and then all of a sudden they come to some negotiated deal and everything's all settled and calmed down again. And then or the cycle all starts again. So it's important, certainly as traders, that we remain dynamic and aware of what's going on because we can't predict. It's impossible to predict exactly what is going to be said, when it's going to be said, how it's going to happen. All we can do is react to the market volatility and to the news at the time. So we have to remain dynamic. We have to manage our risk, and we have to be aware of what's going on and what's causing that market volatility each time.
Yeah, not even the best economists would be able to put it in. Well, we're not politicians, but we do have to react. I guess this is where risk management comes in to play a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, risk management is vital anyway with trading, right? It's like if you don't have right risk management or correct risk management, tight risk management strategies in place, then you're never going to succeed as a trader. But especially now during that market volatility, because any market moves, if your risk isn't on point, can cause like irreparable damage. It can cause really, really sort of like substantial damage to your account. And I think Trump, he as I say, he does move the markets. He is volatile, but we don't know what he's going to say, when it's going to be said, and everything like that. So we just need to keep on our toes and make sure our risk is always tight.
Has it changed your the cryptocurrency thing? Were you trading that before, or are you looking at it now because they're setting up this crypto reserve in America, so forth?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a crypto trader. Again, it's sort of it doesn't come from my background. My background has always been from when I very first started trading back in the early 2000s. My focus has always been on indices and forex. So I've always kept to that area because that's where my area of expertise is. And I don't I say to people, like, my experience and my knowledge of crypto, the reason I don't trade it is because I'm fairly ignorant to it, I guess. Like, I'm not massively clued up on it. I'm not massively, like, my experiences in other asset classes. So that's why I stick to those. I think it's impossible not to be aware of what's going on with crypto. It's such a big asset now. It's such a big talking point amongst all traders. So I mean, I think it's important to be aware of it. And I mean, you've seen again last week just the decline on Bitcoin on the back of sort of like the Bybit hack and stuff. But then all of a sudden now, again, Trump says one thing, and all of a sudden it recovers a little bit, and it's just creating market volatility.
So it doesn't necessarily, the price doesn't necessarily behave the same way as indices and forex in terms of the
No, I mean, again, my ignorance on this may sort of be that, but like I mean, I find forex and indices a little bit easier to predict in terms of the fundamentals. So you know, you have an opinion on it, and like the fundamental. If you have an opinion on the fundamentals, you can see what's driving price. So I find that much easier to predict on indices and forex than I do the crypto space.
Well, I mean, let's sort of drill down on this a wee bit. If we could just spend a few minutes to get an idea of how you trade, because obviously you've got a lot of people following you now, a lot of people in the Discord channel and the Keyzone Traders community. What's your so do you look for a longer trend? Do you look for the fundamentals to be in place and then go to a shorter term?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a day trader. My theory, my trading style. I mean, for anyone that has been to some of my talks and stuff at your shows in the past will know sort of roughly how I sort of like approach the market. So I look for institutional footprints, I guess, through support and resistance. So it's basically mastering support and resistance and being able to identify where the institutional order flow is and has been historically, to be able to position yourself in the most highest probability areas in the market. It's not quite that simple. Obviously, you then have to take in the factors of, like, you know, why is the market moving this way? You need to understand the price action as to, you know, what factors are driving the market at that time. I'm not totally driven by fundamental news. I'm not totally driven by the overall market movements, because obviously, even in the strong bullish trend that we've seen on sort of like certainly like indices over the last sort of like, you know, 10, 12 years, there have been short-term corrections in that time. So you, as a short-term trader, I need to remain dynamic to be able to adjust and turn my bias short, even though the overall context and the fundamentals might be driving it long. So it is a little bit more complex, but the ultimate aim and the ultimate way that I trade is to identify the institutional footprint and trade from that. But I mean, my teachings and the way that I set up my courses is, and I've got, I mean, I know you're part of the Discord channel as well, the community. You've probably seen the traders in the community. Some of them are very short-term traders, but some of them are longer-term traders. And it's about adapting. Like, I try and offer education that can be adapted to all different styles of trading, but the principles of the trading remain the same. So you can take the principles, you can take the foundations. By understanding where the institutional footprints are, you then know the highest probability areas of the market that you actually want to be entering into your positions or entering into your strategy, and then you can adapt it from that, basically.
How do you? I mean, you're talking about institutional footprints. You're talking about the big pension funds and so forth making big trades.
Yeah, I mean, institutions, banks, those sorts of things. I mean, again, it comes down to the fact that, you know, me and you do not move the markets. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what we do in the markets. We are not the ones moving the market and driving price.
Right.
The driving price are the ones with the funds, and they are the institutions of the banks and stuff like that. So any major market move is caused by the order flow from these institutions and these banks and stuff like that. So obviously that does leave a footprint, because that where, if you can identify clean areas where that price has been driven from, you know it must have been them that drove that price at that time. So therefore, you use that information to try and predict the future to give you an edge, basically.
What about technical analysis? Is there any indicator that you use, or?
I mean, so I teach. In my courses, I sort of like, I use Bollinger Bands and I use moving averages as a bit of a guide. I don't use, not necessarily as a personally, I don't really use them as a tool in my trading anymore. I have used them in the past when I very first started out, but as I've progressed and developed as a trader, I'm very much based on price and then sort of like identifying support and resistance. However, I do believe that there are not just Bollinger Bands and moving averages. I think there are some indicators out there that can help as a visual guide for traders. I don't think, again, I think fundamentally the markets are moved by price and institutions. They're not. The market never moves because we've hit a moving average or we've extended outside the Bollinger Band. Like, that's not the reason that price moves. However, if we can use some of the, or the stochastic is under 20, therefore we've got to buy, sort of thing. It never moves because of that. However, if we can use some of these as visual guides to allow us to use them to enter the markets in the right areas of the market, then they can provide us an edge, sort of thing. So they become entry techniques rather than the strategy itself, if you see what I mean.
Just at the beginning there, you said that you used some of these Bollinger Bands and other indicators earlier in your trading career. Does that mean that you value these tools and you would recommend them more to people that are getting started, sort of more beginner level, and then as you progress, you kind of
I think there's an element of, I certainly think it can help beginner traders. I think, again, any tools that you can use, because again, like you don't have the experience, you don't have the confidence sometimes in trading when you start out. So some of these indicators can give you that confidence, and they can give you a bit more of a mechanical entry into your trading. So it's a bit more black and white, and therefore you feel more confident and less hesitation when you're trading. In terms of like whether it's for more developed traders, again, there's that element of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So if it works for you and it carries on working for you, even if you're been trading 50 years and you've got this system that works, don't just discard it because you're now a more experienced trader. It's like, if it works, it works, and continue to use it. But if you develop, like I just found as a trader, what I found was I was missing a lot of trades because I was waiting for certain signals using Bollinger Bands and moving averages that wasn't happening, but they were happening around my zones. So it was like, my zones are obviously more powerful than the indicator themselves. Like I was waiting for that confirmation through using the indicators, but I was finding that my zones were much more powerful than that, and I was missing opportunities. So I took the indicators out to be able to sit there and say, well, now I've got so much more confidence in my zones and my analyzing of the markets and the areas that I need to be trading in, that it's actually going to be more beneficial for me to take those out and just trade the zones themselves. So.
How do you spend your time, your day as a trader? Could you give us a little insight into the trading psychology of obviously your social media? A lot of great stuff comes out. Yeah. And I can see that you place a lot of emphasis on mindset and psychology as being the nut to crack when it comes to sort of making money over the longer term and surviving as a trader, because it's a stressful pursuit. So any tips, recommendations for sort of new traders to factor?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, for new traders coming into the market, I think it's vital to educate yourself. Like, I mean, educate yourself on the basics, and that means working on your mindset as well. Like, mindset is a big thing in trading. It's one of the 3 pillars that I sort of sit there and say, you need to have a strategy in place to give you an edge. You need to have the right mindset, and you need to have correct risk controls in place. Those are like the 3 pillars that you need. And I think mindset's often overlooked. Like, you have to, I always say, you develop and you learn a lot about yourself when you become a trader, because it goes along against a lot of societal norms and what you're built as naturally as a human being. So you have to change your mindset. I find mindfulness and meditation is really important for that, because it helps with like emotional control when you're in trading. The breathing techniques, which I know you've seen in some of your sessions that I've done with you guys before.
I keep doing it when I'm walking the dogs. I keep stopping and then breathing, and then breathe some more.
Exactly. So I think
it really works.
Yeah, and I don't like the mindfulness and meditation thing. Like, I wouldn't sit there and say all traders do it or all successful traders do it, but I know a vast majority of the ones that I speak to when I come across, a lot of them have it in their routine at some point. Like I always do it before my trading session. Because it allows me to work out whether I'm in the right frame of mind and just to get in the right focus. I'm actually doing a session with somebody I believe you just had on your podcast as well, Louise Nonweiler.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm doing a session with her. She's coming in and doing a session with my clients as like a webinar, hosting a webinar for them to give some of her experience and techniques and stuff around it as well. So I'm really looking forward to that because, as I say, it's not the only piece of the jigsaw, but it's certainly a big part of the piece of the jigsaw that you need to become a successful
I
trader.
think it is. It's a really important part. So a lot of people that seem to come back to the shows and they say, "Oh, they're excited about trading. They get the account. They find out what indicators want to use, what sort of trader they're going to be, and then
Yeah.
sort of rush in. And then before you know it, it's all gone wrong. And
Yeah.
I'll put some more money in. I'll put some more money in. And these are all the mistakes that you're trying to sort of say. Well, hold on. Before you do that, think about this. Cool, calm down, and treat it like a business. And
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah. And I think it's important, like, there's lots of strategies out there and there's lots of strategies that work out there. And just because, I'm a big believer as well in that, like, as a coach, it's not my job to impose my style of trading on any individual trader and say this is the way that you need to trade. Like, there are different strategies, there are different ways of trading out there. It's about identifying the ones that work for you and resonate with you. And generally speaking, like I say, people are looking for this one strategy. There's not. There's plenty of ways out there and plenty of strategies that you can make money from the markets. And a lot of the time, people don't achieve the success that they want, not because they have an inability or a lack of technical ability to trade. It's because they're focusing on the wrong thing. So they're focusing on trying to switch from strategy to strategy when actually, if they focus on their process and looked at their process and looked at their mindset and fixed something in that area, then it would have a knock-on impact into their actual strategy and the performance on their strategy as well. So yes, the strategy is important, but actually sometimes the issue is not the strategy, it's the process that you're following, which can be sort of solved by mindset. And I've worked with a lot of traders in the past where, by identifying that in like through journaling and working with them, it can rectify it and actually, that's been the issue rather than the strategy itself.
Prop trading. It's been everywhere in the last few years. Everybody seems to be talking about it. Any experience with prop trading or any particular views, positive or negative?
I think it's been around for, like you say, it's been a big thing, and it's impossible to be in the trading game this day and age and not have had some involvement with prop trading. Like, I have a lot of clients that come to me and they're trying to pass prop firm challenges to get funded and stuff like that. And I think, look, there's positives and negatives to it. I think the big positive is that one of the biggest obstacles for traders is being undercapitalized to achieve what they want. And I think this comes from sort of social media and stuff as well. There's a lot of people in my area in terms of the education side of things that give out, this lifestyle, sell this lifestyle and this dream, when actually they're not even educators, they're just marketers. Basically, they're marketing something that people want to buy. Sure. So people are undercapitalized to actually achieve what that dream. So what the trader funding programs do is they offer them a legitimate way in to get funded to be able to make a decent living from trading. So that's the positive, because again, you have to commit less money. There's a lot less risk in terms of personal capital to get leveraged up to get funded. So from that side of things, I think it's a real positive. Yeah. I think the only real negative that I think from it, and again, it's probably a little bit like the space that I work in from the education side, is like it's a bit of a minefield in terms of there's so many out there, and unfortunately not all of them are the best. I think it's not regulated strongly enough at the moment to be able to sort of sit there and say, you have some prop firms which their business model is to profit from people failing their challenges, and they put so many restrictions and issues in place on traders that, you know, it almost makes it impossible for them to one, get funded, or once they're funded, to keep that funded account. So I think it's important when you're like, I think it's really important that this option stays available. But I think it's important for traders to do their due diligence on the prop firm and make sure they're going with one of these, with the ones that do not have the restrictions on the accounts that make it almost impossible for you to keep your account open, and, you know, are going to benefit from your long-term success as well as a profitable trader.
Yeah, good points. No, yeah, I agree with everything you said. You know, I remain optimistic about the space. In terms of the what it can offer small retail traders, the ability to get in and participate in the markets in order to
100%. I think, and I think it's vital for the sort of ecosystem of traders as well, because, like I say, it gives people who, you know, who have limited capital, as well, to get funded, but also use the cap, because the other problem, the problem that we had sort of like 5-10 years ago, is that you had traders who maybe had, you know, £5,000 to £10,000 to invest into their trading future, like, you know, when they're very first starting out. And it's like they don't have the money to invest in education and to fund their own account to then to grow. So actually it frees up some of their capital to invest in it, in proper education and stuff as well. So, which is vital. Like when you're developing any new skill, you need to educate yourself to be able to develop that skill, sort of thing. So I think it's a vital part of the whole process, and I hope it stays around as well. I think it's just just making sure that people do their homework in terms of getting on the right.
It's got a way to go, I think. Yeah, in terms of the evolution of the industry, still got a wee bit to go, but you know.
Yeah, but equally, that's what you're running the show in May for as well, is to give people the platform to see the ones that are there for the benefit of them.
The leading ones do offer good opportunities. That's right. Exactly. I mean, talking of shows, we're going to see you on the 4th of April. It's only a month away.
Looking forward to that one.
Come up quick. We're trying some new ideas for the show in April. We're going to be running live trading desks. So we're going to be seeing traders actually doing more sort of live trading. We're hoping you'll be able to take part in that for an hour or so. I know you're going to do a seminar as well at the event, so we'll look forward to that. I think you're nipping off straight over afterwards, are you?
I'm flying at 10 o'clock that night, so I'll be at the show, and then I'll be going probably straight to the.
I promise not to work you too hard. That'll be great. Well, I mean, just before we go, just to make mention, I mentioned Keyzone Traders a couple of times to talk. That is your company, and you built up a fantastic following of traders. I know a lot of people are having a great time joining you every day in the live trading rooms, the Discord channel. What can you offer? Who is it that you're trying to attract, and what would be the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I have a free Discord channel to offer sort of like some free analysis to people who are just getting started. I have like what I call the 7 Steps to Trading course, which is a very much a beginner's course, and it just outlines a responsible approach to trading. Again, rather than just that sort of like going in, hitting the live account straight away, like how to build up the right approach to when you actually go into a live account, that you're best prepared for that. And then I have my academy course, which is sort of like that all-encompassing course where people have access to me. Like, you know, I give out daily trade ideas. I give out my analysis, my daily trade plans. I trade live alongside them. You'll see from the community, I'm very active in terms of answering questions and talking about trade ideas that other people have. And offering that sort of like support there. And then I obviously have my graduate program, which is my sort of mentorship one-to-one program for traders that really want to take it almost as a profession and replace their income, sort of thing. So yeah, it's a variety of different things. I think we've got a really good community there. It's not too big in that it allows me to keep it quite personable, but it's active in terms of people sort of like, and it's a really supportive and empathetic community as well, which was something that I really wanted to strive to produce. So yeah, really happy with how it's going now.
Oh, congratulations on that. Well, Ross, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to seeing you at the show, of course, in April on the 4th, the IX Trader Show. And good luck with Keyzone Traders. We'll keep in touch. Until next time, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks for having me, Simon. Looking forward to seeing you on the 4th as well. Cool.